Hi guys, just a quick overview of the current batch of IWI Jerichos coming into the US. This particular one is the Jericho 941 RS. Israeli Weapons Industry IWI Limited. IWI logo on the grip. On this side, IWI Israel. A serial number over there. QR code IWI US, Middletown, Pennsylvania, 9x19. So the way the designation for the Jericho works is that originally when this was brought out in the early 90s, it was called the 941, and the 9 was for 9mm, and the 41 was, it had a drop in 41 Action Express barrel, and that's where the 941 comes from. They are essentially made in, there's 4 varieties of these. So the F, so there's a 941F, and that's got a frame mounted safety like that. The R has got a decocker safety, and then the S, so the RS is decocker safety, short barrel versus the slightly longer barrel. And then you'll also get this one in FS, meaning that it's got a frame mounted safety with the shorter barrel. I think on the new batch of imports, or the new batch of manufacturing, the big difference comes in on that part right over there. You can see a line through there, and the slide is essentially in two pieces. And I'll pull it apart and show you. So there's the slide, and this bottom end comes out, and the slide looks like that. And this is forged, and this is MIM, and you can see the investment, the MIM, typical of MIM parts. So to achieve that, you got another little dovetail in there, and then that slides into that dovetail. Now, how good or bad that is, I don't know. So when this operates, when this recoils, that back of that runs up against the frame on the inside. So that's all the way back, and what happens is, so that surface will hit over there, that surface. I'll pull this one apart and you can compare. So the old one, this is all forged as one piece, and clearly that must be stronger than an add-on piece like that. And I don't really know what the benefit of this is, except maybe cost of production. Okay, so getting back to the rest of the pistol, so that is that part, and it is clearly MIM. There's a seam right there. The rest of the slide appears to be forged. It's got the hammer drop safety. It's got that little pin over there, and if I push down on it, that pin will punch up like that. And what that's doing is pushes down on the sear over there, which then drops the hammer. At the same time, there's a firing pin block there, and what it does is it pulls the firing pin out of alignment. So if you watch the firing pin, you can see the firing pin moving inwards so that the hammer can't strike it. The barrel is black versus the previous iteration was silver. Kind of a rough texture to the barrel, where the old one was smoother. Got a double recoil rod, not captured, and I'm not sure if the double recoil rod is because of the fact that this is the compact, or if it's just a completely new design, if the full size also has the double recoil rod, because the old one has a single one and the wire is of thicker gauge. So maybe it is even on the full size they got the double rod or the double spring. Everything else on the two pistols are the same. The markings are identical except for the RS. So there appears to be no change to the frame. The change appears to be on the slide only with this recoil spring guide that just slots in there on a dovetail. Sights are the same. Front and rear. The gun ships with 2 IWI marked magazines. What is weird though is that the older iteration or generation, it'll take a CZ75 Megara mag, no problem. The new one, mag goes in and you battle to get it out. I don't know if there's slight tighter tolerances on this mag well, or if it's just this particular pistol that's got a slight different tolerance to the older generation. On the frame, the internals are exactly the same as the older iteration or generation of the IWI. There's absolutely no difference. But the only difference being that this has got the frame mounted safety there, and this one's only got a pin that runs through to hold the sear cage in. And then it also has, if you look on the actual sear, there's a bit of a step right there, which this one does not have, and that's just for the decocking pin to come down and push down on that, where this not being a decocker does the sear is slightly different shaped. But other than that, the two are exactly the same. Reassembly with this double recoil spring is a bit of a mission, but there's a way around it. So get that spring guide on there, get the barrel in, and the secret is don't put it on like that, because when you push it in and you want to force that in or push that in, this spring wants to climb through that one and then you battle. So what I found was that if you run that spring all the way through to the front so that the two are level at the front, and then the guide rod comes in the back like that, so you're not lining it up at the back, you're lining the two springs up at the front, you can go it's a lot easier to go straight in and get it into the gun. If you don't do that, the inside spring keeps on wanting to push through the coils of the outside spring, and that does help does help a lot getting it back together. And then it's just typically CZ, CZ, 10 Foglio and IWI. Just line up the two dots and then get that back in. That's it. This safety decocker is very, very hard. I cannot activate it. I've got to kind of twist my hand, and then it's really tough to get it on and off. It's as if the spring in there is very hard, and also as if the detent is not really smooth. It's really tough to get that on and off, and this one's been worked several times to try and lighten it up. I do not know if this is convertible to decocker only, where you decock and it jumps back up. I don't know. There you go, guys. Hope you found that interesting. Stay safe. We talk again. Cheers.